back to the Twin Diaries. Today it is just me, which is Sana, because I know you guys want to know at the beginning of the video who's who. So I'm Sana. I am a LVN and I'm 24. So yeah, let's get into the video. If I look down, one of my dogs is like right here, and you might see Tank like back here, and if I don't like crop it or something like that. So today I'm gonna do a Q&A because I feel like I always get like a bunch of questions, and I haven't done an update in a while. And then Shauna's also gonna do a Q&A. It's just hard like with our Tank move. It's just hard like with our schedules and trying to do videos together, so then we compromise like how much content we put out. So when you see us like doing videos separately, it's just because like our schedules are different, and then also like our lives could be a little bit different. So just showing you guys like her life as a nurse and my life as a nurse and everything. So in the contrast, the comparison, I don't know, I thought it'd be cool. You have two different people who you might relate to, one more than the other on the channel. So Tank, sit. Z. Good. Off. 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 Good boy. So Tank was trained, not in German. What was it? He was trained in another language, so when you see me saying stuff like that, it's because he was trained in another language. Daisy, on the other hand, knows English, and he's a puppy, so he's very hard-headed, and he makes a lot of noise with his nose. And you probably will hear him throughout the video because he's like right here. So, first question, how did you balance between nursing school, social life, family, friends, boyfriend, etc.? That was probably one of the hardest parts about nursing school, because I like barely saw my friends. If I saw my friends, it was like planned in advance. It was like usually when I didn't have a test, like I had like a break, so that weekend like I didn't have a test that I needed to for sure be studying for. It would be like birthdays, holidays, like it was always, I had to spend so much time studying that I actually spent more time like my nursing school friends, like Marissa, she was like my nursing school bestie, and Jessica. Yeah, so I spent more time with them than I really got to spend with my friends that like I had before nursing school. So that really sucked. So it was like a balance, like trying to plan time with them. And then my boyfriend, y'all know that he like works, when I was in nursing school, it was during his season, and literally at the end of my nursing school experience, he was still in season. So that was just like, yeah, that was just difficult because I would have to like, towards the end, I would pick and choose like what games I would go to, and then fly there to see him. But it was like, I literally probably only got to go to like 3 or 2 throughout while I was in nursing school. So that was pretty difficult because it was just kind of like I had to have a planner and then write out all these times where I had like tests, when I had my quizzes, when I had assignments due, and then look at the times that I actually have open that I could possibly go see him. From the beginning of nursing school to the end, it just got harder, like harder. You had less time to yourself as it progressed. So in the beginning, it was super easy that first semester to like find time, because it was just like you were only taking like not that many classes. In the classes, it was just like basics and stuff like that, and then taking the math class, which was super easy for me. So that stuff, like, it wasn't as bad because I really didn't spend that much time studying. But as it went on, when you get into med surg and pharm and stuff like that, you definitely have to spend more time studying for that stuff. So it's just write out everything in a planner and then look at the times that you have available and make the most of those times. Relationship advice. What I would say in nursing school with relationship advice is just use your time wisely. So this person is important to you, like they say, like if you want to make time for those people, you can, but then at the same time, no, you want to spend time with those people, you will make time if you really want to. But you also have to be very stingy with your time and very purposeful. So if you know that you want to see this person more often and make time for them, if they're in school, maybe you could have like study dates. If there's something that he really likes to do and like y'all like to go to the movies like me and my boyfriend like to do, then be like, I'm going to study from this time to this time, so that way from this time to this time I can spend all that time with him because I study for this chunk of time, hours. That's what I used to do. I used to bulk study, so that way when I left and I studied as much as I possibly could, and I would have like a list of all the things I wanted to get done. If I wanted to get these many chapters done on pharmacology, I would make sure that I had that list. And once I got through with that, I was like, okay, well, I can't feel guilty now because I got everything done on the list that I wanted to get done. So it's like, I feel like when you have a list and you can cross those things out and you feel like you got stuff done, it'll be easier for you when you spend time outside of studying and outside of school, where you feel like you know you got stuff done, but then now you can go spend time with the people that you really love. So that's what I used to do, is just make sure that I like communicated. And also just know that you're bettering yourself. And in any relationship, a healthy relationship, you want your partner to do better in life, to be better, to be a better person, to grow. So I feel like the best thing you could do for somebody else is be the best version of yourself. That's what I truly believe. So if you're bettering yourself and you're going to go into a nursing career, that's like, you can't ever feel bad about going into nursing. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Nursing and medical school are two different things. Nursing and dental school are two different things. Nursing is nursing, and like, you can never feel bad about being a nurse. You just can't. So, and then it's also a really amazing job to have, because if you think about it, we'll always have a job. Like, a robot can't do what we do. You know what I mean? That's what makes nursing so special, because you're like connecting with your patients and things like that, and their families, and really making a difference and doing everything that you can for them. So I would say, when you're bettering yourself, growing, learning more, being a better person, you bring that into the relationship. And not only can they be proud of you, you could be proud of you and be happy, to where your relationship can grow as well. So you're being better for that person as well, not just for yourself. So I don't know, if you think about it that way, you can't really lose. Are you ready to get married? Probably before, if you asked me that question, I would have said no. Now, I do feel like I'm ready to get married. So, you know, it's up to my partner, because I'm not gonna like be like, you need to marry me now. But, you know, I've thrown in like hints here and there. So we wouldn't be together now though, and we definitely wouldn't be living together if I wasn't able to see him as like my partner for life. So yeah, I am ready to get married. Are you feeling comfortable in your nursing career? Crazy, because it does not, absolutely does not feel like I've been a nurse for 6 months. Literally this month, February, I made being a nurse 6 months. Like, this is the point. And it's crazy because I feel like at the same time it's been longer than 6 months, and the amount of knowledge and how confident I am as a nurse blows me, and it blows everyone else, because I've already been asked to be a unit manager, which like a lot of people, they've been like nurses for years before they even get to, you know, go to that role. They asked me that when I was like 4 months as a nurse, to do the unit manager position. Right now, I just like, that's not what I'm trying to do, because I actually have a life outside of nursing. If any of y'all know me, like, nursing isn't my end all be all, which I think somebody asked me a question like, is that just like what I want to do for the rest of my life, is just do nursing? No, absolutely not. I want to do nursing because I choose to do nursing, but I don't want like all my income, I don't want my whole life to be surrounded by nursing. I'm a nurse, yes, but that's not all I am, and that's not all I want to be. So yeah, I do feel very, very comfortable in my nursing career. Not comfortable like, oh, okay, I'm good, I don't need to do anything else, because as you know, I just got a new job in the hospital, and I'm going to start that April 2nd. It used to be April 3rd, but then they like contacted me and asked me if I can come like a day earlier, which I was like perfectly fine, because April 3rd is like a Friday, and then April 2nd is a Thursday. So of course, I would rather come in on Thursday and be there the whole day than spend my whole Friday. So, and I'll be off that Friday, and then the following week, that Monday, is when I start like all my other crazy training and everything, because I'm going to be on like training for like a month, and then depending on how I feel after that month, it could be over a month. But I catch on pretty fast, which is why I think that I was asked to do the unit manager position. I know everything I'm supposed to be doing. If I don't know, I have absolutely no problem asking questions. To this day, I still ask questions because I'm still new. But I catch on really fast. Really, you only have to tell me once, and then it's just like, I know I got it, and I'm not going to forget that. And I really do care about my patients. So if I like see them declining and I know their baseline and they're even slightly just like not acting themselves, like I'm on it. Where can I find the resume template? I'm trying to also get a job in the hospital. The resume template we added to the description box in the previous video about our update when I told you I got a new job, and then I'll also add Rashauna's resume template to this video in the description box, so it'll be there when this video is up. So if you guys want to use it, you can. And then Rashauna's video about job interview tips, which I highly suggest you watching, like watch other people's and read articles about it, because I actually did that before I went on all these interviews. And just so you know, I got a lot of scenario-based questions about what I would do in this situation, what I would do in this situation. And I feel like if you've already been a nurse already, it's really easy, or even if you've been a CNA, it's really easy to put yourself in that position, because 9 times out of 10 you've been in that position before. So I've been in a lot of crazy situations since being a nurse. How does your scope different from the RN? It's so weird because I actually work with a lot of RNs at my job. Like, I work in a skilled rehab right now. Downstairs is skilled rehab, so it's a lot of like in and out. The patients change very frequently. And then upstairs, it's and the acuity's higher. Upstairs, where I'm working, is like long-term care, so like pretty much like a nursing home. Yeah, nursing home, and it's a lot slower. There's medication aids up there. Like, it's just very different. Where downstairs there's no medication aids. Like, the nurse is doing absolutely everything for that patient, because it's too high acuity for there to be medication aids downstairs. So, but downstairs is also speech, OT, PT, things like that. So yeah, for me, there's just certain things that I've realized since I've been working that, like, as an LVN you can't do, but as an RN you can do. For example, pull a PIC line. I work with PICs all the time. I know, like, I think I trained like 5 new nurses, which is crazy because I've been a nurse 6 months. But I've been training a lot of nurses that are actually been nurses longer than me. And you'd be surprised, depending on where you work as a nurse, it'll kind of tell you that a lot of times where you work really dictates how much you know and how your skills and what you're comfortable doing as a nurse. And I feel like your job can dictate how comfortable you are as a nurse. I feel like if I started working somewhere else, for example, I've trained a lot of people that used to do home health. Not saying that in home health you're not able to do many things or experience a lot of things, and a lot of times you're working with like 1 patient at a time. It's a lot slower. The documentation is different. The things you're doing is different. And it's not the same environment, the same situations as it would be, if you were working elsewhere in a skilled rehab, in a hospital, every situation's different. So where I'm working, sometimes I feel like they think that they're a hospital because of just the acuity, and a lot of times they're coming straight from the hospital. They've probably been in ICU, probably went to like a step down unit for a couple of days, and they shipped them off to us. So that's like what we get. So I deal a lot with PICs. The only thing I don't do with the PIC is pull it out. I do everything else. Administer meds through the PIC, flush them, monitor them, change the central line dressings, do all that stuff, and I just don't pull it out. So that's something that I would have to go get one of the RNs at my job, any of them on the floor or in management. I'll just come and ask them to pull my patient's PIC out before I can like discharge them or whatever. What else? We don't do blood transfusions where I work, but that's another thing that like LVN can't do and an RN can do. We do our admissions as an LVN, but we don't build their care plan. That's something that's RN and management would do. So there's just little things here and there that an RN can do that an LVN can't do, but there isn't many. I think those are the 3 things so far that I haven't been able to do that an RN would have to do. So yeah, it's just when you're in nursing school, you learn the things that you can and you can't do. But it's just funny because it's just little stuff. Like, it's literally little stuff. Like, oh, you could do all of this stuff, but there's one thing you can't do. So like, it's just funny to me because it's just minuscule. So then it's like, sometimes I wonder how even LVN and then RN came about. Like, yeah. How do you handle rude patients? I literally deal with them on a daily basis, including rude family members. A lot of times it's the family members that make things difficult, because I've actually had patients who are absolutely amazing, the sweetest patients ever, and they're apologizing on their family's behalf. And it's the families that just go berserk. So I always either kill them with kindness, or sometimes I just have to take not a step back from the patient, but take a step back. And that's a point where I'm going to be very assertive. I don't ever neglect my patients. I am very open. Whatever you want to know, and as long as you're on the paperwork where I can give you that information, I'm going to give you that information. If there's questions that you have, if you want to talk to me, if you want to talk to the doctor, if you want us to add something to their medication, or if you want, you know, like different things like that, or adding treatments or whatever it is. I feel like I'm very good with communicating with the family members. So if I feel like a family member is getting disrespectful, I'm going to let you know that you're being disrespectful and that's not, you know, and then I'm going to hand it over to management if it's not something that I can take care of. I'm just going to make sure I take care of the patient. Whether the family member likes me or doesn't like me, I would rather you like me, but if you don't like me, that's fine. I'm still here for the patient. I feel like you kind of just have to put yourself in that box, in that mindset, because then you can get your feelings hurt really easily, because people will treat you like crap. And sometimes you just have to realize that it's like, okay, well, they're seeing their family members and they're sick and there's nothing that they can do, and they have to be here, they can't be home with them, and they're probably feeling guilty about that, or like don't know what to do. So sometimes I just have to realize, like, okay, well, maybe they had a bad day or they're going through something and I can't do anything about that. All that I can do is just make sure that their family member is taken care of, and that if there is an issue, that I can, you know, try to solve it. If it's not something that I can solve, then that's when I'm just like, I'm just gonna hand it over to management. So just don't take it personally, and just know, do you do everything that you can for the patient, and that's all you really can do. You do your job. Do you plan on going back to get your BSN? I do plan on going back to get my BSN. I don't think not having my RN holds me back in any way, because just like I see all the time on social media, people are like, LVNs can't do this, there's not a lot of jobs for LVNs, they can't work in the hospital, and I'm just like, where, sis? Like, I think what people fail to realize is, it's kind of just like, let me see, me saying like, I used to be a CNA, so this is not a good example, but let's say I was never a CNA, and I'm saying like, oh, there's not a lot of jobs for CNAs, you probably should look elsewhere. Or like, oh, there's not a lot of jobs for teachers, so maybe you shouldn't be a teacher, maybe you should, you know, like try to be a principal or something like that. If I'm not even a teacher, if I'm not even a CNA, and I'm not even the one looking for the jobs and everything, and I'm not actually trying to get it, like if I've never even put myself in that headspace, or to do the research to even see there's not that many jobs or something like that, why is it that I'm telling people that that's not the case? I feel like people are hearing that and thinking like, oh, well, they can't get any jobs. Well, there's so many. Just like they said I couldn't work in the hospital, but yet I'm working in the hospital. So and then a lot of people talk about like the pay. I don't even think people realize there's a lot of LVNs, including me coming out of school, that get paid what RNs are getting paid. And if they knew about that, they probably would be upset. But it's just, if you think about it, as you're working also, it's just the industry is kind of changing. where you come out of school and you're making $26 an hour, I'm here to tell you that. But there's a lot of RNs as well that come straight out of school with their BSN or their ADN also making $26 an hour. So I think people just need to be mindful. Sometimes, as much as you want to say that in healthcare, sometimes it's who you know. And sometimes, like, for example, me being trying to get me to be a unit manager, and still to this day, even after I found another job, they still want me to be a unit manager. It's just, every nurse is going to be different. You can just come straight out of nursing school, but might end up being a completely better nurse than somebody who's probably been a nurse for 30 years. It's just, there could be a new teacher who just became a teacher and might end up being a better teacher than somebody who's been doing it for 50 years. Like, it's just, everything is different and people just have a skewed mindset. But don't let other people get in your head. Because when all these things started happening to me is when I realized, like, people really don't know what they're talking about. And if people knew, like, you know what I mean? Like, they would truly be surprised. So I'm here to be the one to surprise people and to not listen to what other people say and do whatever makes you happy. If you're set and like, this is what I'm gonna do, you're gonna do it. Here in Texas, there's LVNs that work in the ER, in CDU, in OBS, which is observation unit, like med-surg, and I've worked with them. So it's just like, I know that it's there, and it's not impossible to reach. If you want to do it, that's what you're gonna do. How do you, this is the last one because I feel like I probably am like, or this is a very long video. How do you set up your patient info to keep track of meds? So in my new job, I always make my own brain. I was trained by my aunt. She started as an LVN, now she's an RN, and she's also a unit manager. So right now, the brain that I have, which I'm like, if y'all want me to share that, comment that down below, and maybe I'll put it in like my Etsy shop or find a way to like put a link. I want to find a way to where y'all can like type in your notes when we put them up on Etsy, like find a way to do that. I just don't know how. But put up a brain so you can see, and I'll put up one that you would just print and write on it. But I have a brain that I use for where I work now. So if you work in skilled rehab, this will be perfect for you. But mind you, in skilled rehab, the max is 19. And with skilled, honestly, 19 is way too many patients. So I probably got to 19 on like a rare occasion. It probably only lasted like 2 weeks and the discharges were coming. But, and it was because we had another part of the unit closed down. But most of the time in mine, there's usually like max 16, and even then that's still kind of high. But that's how my brain is set up, and I have it to where it's like the patient, whether there's a special charting for people on certain insurances. So just like I have a box for that lets me know if I need to do certain charting for that particular person. Then it's the doctors, because we have bunch of them that work where it's like a team. So there's a nurse practitioner and a doctor for every patient. So like if you have this doctor, then you have this nurse practitioner. And the way that our chain goes is we always reach out to the nurse practitioner first and then the doctor. And unless it's like a certain time, then we reach out straight to the doctor, and we're not going to contact the nurse practitioner. That's just how my job works. But anyway, I put who the nurse practitioner and the doctor is. And then in the next one, or the PA and the doctor, the next one will be like, are they a dialysis patient? Next one is like, are they a G-tube? Next one, do they have an IV? Are they a blood sugar check? And then like my boxes for their vitals, because it's like you can go straight down the line and read everything about that particular patient. So mine is just like, and I actually can't even work. It's bad that like now I'm so like, I need that sheet, or I feel like my whole day is just gonna be crazy. Because you'd be surprised just having all that information on one sheet. Like if they have a PIC, how many lumens, are they on antibiotics, is it IV or is it PO antibiotics? Like all this, do they have a wound, where is the wound? Like all of that is on that one sheet for me, and it's efficient. And then when I go in the morning meeting, there's certain, I have to give them like, how many do I have, how many patients do I have, how many have a trach, how many have IV, how many have a G-tube, how many have, like I have to read all that. So how many have a Foley? things like that. So I have all of that literally on one sheet. So when I go into the morning meeting, it's efficient. If a random family member walks up to me, or the doctor walks up to me, or I just need any of that information, I have it. So that's how my brain is. I don't put the meds on there unless it's an antibiotic or IV antibiotic. I just don't, unless I need to order a certain medication. Because on my MAR, it's just, I feel like I don't need to have, oh, what time they get this, this, and that, unless it's like a random time, because there's always going to be morning meds. If there's anything outside of the regular morning meds, then that's when I'll have it like, oh, at 1300 I need to give this medication. At 1400 they get another IV antibiotic, stuff like that. So I'll just have to show you. I feel like maybe I can have, if you guys want me to do a whole video on that, doing skilled rehab, or I don't know. With my new job, when I work in the hospital, I'm gonna make my own brain, because that's just how I am. I have to have like my information set up a certain way, and I have to use that because it just keeps me, I'm forgetful. So I have to write stuff down, and when I do it, I cross it out. So yeah. If y'all want, I feel like I can like do a whole thing on that. So if y'all want to see that, comment that down below, or like what else you want to see regarding nursing, because then me and Rashana could like team up and like do a whole video on that, and I could just show you my brain and how I use it, and with my new job, show you my brain and how I use it. Yeah, so before this video gets like freaking 2 hours long, I'm gonna end it here because I have a ton of errands to run today. So thank you so much for watching. I enjoyed answering all you guys' questions. I'll be doing Q&A, like when y'all feel like it's been long enough, you wanted me to do another Q&A, let me know, because you guys know I'll ask you on Instagram, which you can follow me on Instagram at @SanaMilana, to do a Q&A or whatever video you want to see. I saw all y'all's messages about us doing a day in the life, so I might end up actually starting one today, or doing one next week if I'm working next week, or whatever days I'm working next week, if you want to do like a work day in the life. So thank you so much for watching. Love you guys. Bye.